What's good, YouTube? It's Marty from The Disciples here, back again with another Tuesday podcast, the Tap Tuesdays. Today we are with a couple of new faces, a couple of familiar faces. Let's start out with Henry. Say hi.
Hey guys.
We have Sam. Say hi.
Hello.
And we have a new face and a guest on our podcast today. We have Dean Sanlon, one of NCG's sponsored players, and is starting his own streams sometime this week. We'll keep some of his links posted down in the description as well. Say hi, Dean.
Hi, everyone.
Just tell us a little bit about yourself, Dean, your ventures in Yu-Gi-Oh! And what you plan to be doing later on your streams.
Well, where to begin? I've topped nationals quite a few times. I've topped the L's local legend series, stage 2. I don't really go to YCSs that much, but I'm planning to in the future. And then, as Maddie said, I'm going to be streaming soon. If you like my lovely voice, you can check the link in the description, hopefully.
Brilliant. So, we are all very much interested in Yu-Gi-Oh! And some of the things that have been happening in Yu-Gi-Oh! This week. Starting with the OCG ban list. What were your guys' thoughts on that?
Interesting.
Interesting?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a very OCG list, isn't it? It's
It's an extremely OCG list. I don't think that anyone would have thought going in, of all the cards it needed dealing with, they're going to put Pot of Desires to 2.
Pot of Desire. No, I still maintain, every time I look at that OCG ban list, I still maintain that they just have a Duel Links player who's extremely confused.
Oh no!
He said to
I
hit
half to 2.
Yeah.
I'm a Galatea to 2. Why is Orchid still a thing?
What?
But now play 2 of them. It's funny.
But yeah, no, their semi-limited list is so huge. But a lot
Yeah,
of
it's nearly 10 cards on it now, isn't it?
is it really just 10 cards? I thought it was a lot more.
And yeah, I think they have addressed it, but at one point there was, I think it was 25 or something absolutely absurd. There was a lot of semi-limited cards in the UCG.
God. Because the thing is with their semi-limits, just quickly, is because a lot of the time they do their semi-limits, it's more of just a transitional hit from the card going from like 3 to 2 to 1. And nothing ever like actually stays at 2, unironically.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's a very they have a different way of addressing problems that we do, and it's very apparent.
Yeah. But their bans are based. VFTs to 0, mine to 0.
Those are cards that, I mean, I don't know why VFD wasn't banned the first time around. Why they thought, oh yeah, putting it to one spine.
Putting it to one spine, isn't it?
That's not a good idea. And then mine to 0 is something that I think most players would welcome.
Yeah.
Because when mine's playable in a format, it's
horrible, isn't it?
Awful.
I think it's more that mine's a horrible card. It's just so polarizing. Is you have to either build your deck to be mine or just ignore it and play against it.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird that, like, when mine's been a playable card, so the last in real life YCS, mine was a card that I think was being played by quite a lot of decks. There were Ghost decks, Spiral decks, were mainly mine.
Yeah.
And whenever I'd go to like a group of people in between rounds, I'd say,
wait, which YCS was this?
Game. Utrecht.
Oh, this was
Utrecht,
like the last
yeah.
like, offline YCS.
Like, if you went to a group of people, there'd usually be someone who goes, I got mine last round. So, like, what can I do? And it was weird that like the further you went into the tournament, like the less mine you saw on top lists.
Yeah.
But it's just like during Swiss,
it's the Swiss killer, bro.
Yeah.
Like
it really is.
A terror.
You just randomly just get mauled by it. Like someone activates it. And it's like, fuck. What do I do? Not me. I just play Lost World and just give them a bunch of tokens and turn their mine off. But that's besides the point. Mine was It was just, when it sees playability, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But like again, like a card like mine, it just sort of flip flops out of the format as well. Like because when mine is like, I think mine is usually like, it's never like a mainstay in the format. It's more like a warning shot. where like if people try to take things too far and like they take things too far into the combo side, that you'll have a bunch of people who are like, okay, we're gonna play mind deck. You have to respect this. Stop being degenerate. Play out.
That's exactly what was happening when Block Dragon, rocks were a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Hash and a bunch of others just went, we're just gonna play Mystic Mind Dino, and just.
I think it was Mystic Mind Altergeist first. And then it was in Dragon format. It was Mystic Mind. Same deck, but like same concept. But again, it's like one of those things where the card forced you out of playing like in an ignorant way. Not to say that is like a defense for the card. The card's absolutely indefensible.
Mind Spoofing and Meliseek is the best 3-card combo in the game.
No, it's a 4-card combo. It's Mind, Spoofing, Meliseek, Judgment. It's 4-card combo.
Sure. All right.
It's 4-card combo.
Whatever you say.
The other ban, VFD, we saw that go to 1 in the Asian ban list before. The thing is, right, the OCG, what's it, the VW decks, they were already playing 1 anyways. They weren't doing the combos for double VFD.
Which is crazy, seeing as how it was played in TCG. It had a 100% win rate if you go double VFD, because the plays around every card except
do you know why they were playing
Golem.
Maxi. Nah, I don't know. Like Maxi just doesn't.
We're not getting
Not this episode.
I'm willing to pay.
No,
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. We'll be talking about Maxi later on when we discuss some other things. What else was on this ban list? I need to find the list.
Those were both of the bans.
Those are the
Verte
bans.
got banned, which is something that will probably have to happen.
Verte?
Verte got banned?
No.
Or was that
Are you sure?
No, it was only
wasn't
VFD in mine.
Yeah, it was just VFD mine. I think you were...
Gamma to 1.
Gamma
the limits were Gamma to 1. Yeah, there was Gamma and Zeus to 1.
Gamma to 1's interesting because like they put it to 2 last list, and they decided it's enough of a problem to put it to 1.
People are still playing it too.
wait, are they playing it at 1 though? We don't have lists, but like they were playing it at 2.
No,
they were like,
I was talking to an OCG friend of mine, and they were saying, I'm finding it hard to like play the deck he was playing at the time without Gamma now. I'm not sure what to put in. I was just, why don't you just put talents in? And he went, we just don't think of that as a card in OCG. Maybe. So maybe we might.
I've told I've spoken to some Asian players as well. They just don't think about talents at all. I'm like, this card looks at your opponent's hand at its very best, and at the very worst, it draws 2 cards. Like, are you guys just not reading the same cards as us? Do we not have the same card pool?
Crazy how the worst effect on a card is draw 2.
You always pray that they're draw 2 when they activate it.
Yeah,
fuck?
you always.
You've just lost the game.
Yeah. So there was Gamma to 1, and then there was Zeus to 1, and this one confused me. I don't know about you guys.
I mean, Zeus is obviously a problem card.
Yeah, but hitting it to 1 doesn't change that.
Since its
I mean,
release.
he can't make it on top of himself.
I guess.
That's true.
But I mean, since release, you had the VFD.deck, which was obviously better than multiple Zeuses that are going to be. And then you had Pure Zoo, which was just go
Zeus
second,
deck,
summon Borbo, put Zeus up, next turn, make a Trident, maybe another Zeus, and you just do that over and over again. You just win through mass card advantage, right? And then the best deck this format's Trizoo, because it can make Zeus. So, I mean, putting it to 1 just doesn't make sense.
I think one of our friends made a good suggestion about saying that it was the same as the VFD to 1, is that it's a warning shot. It's not actually meant to impact the game. It's saying
it's more of a transitional. They're like, we're watching this card. Stop being naughty.
Gamma's going to get banned next list.
Yeah, it likely will. If it's going to 1, it's likely getting banned straight up. Which
that's like putting malicious to 0 after limiting it.
That's true.
It would be such a weird ban after it's limited now.
Yeah. Right, so we've gone through the limits, we've gone through the bans. Now let's look at the semi-limits, which we've joked about. We've got overacted to 2.
They have far more than 10. I thought there are 22 semi-limited cards.
Yeah.
This new list.
I told you that it was like 25 at one point, like 27, I think it was.
Yeah, I mean they've put 4 new cards on it. They've taken 5
I believe they've taken 4. Yeah, no, it's 4 on and then 4 off.
They put 1 semi-limited to limited, which was Gamma, and 4 now are unlimited.
Yeah.
But
Overraptor to 2.
I mean, there are some cards on there, but you think, why are these at 2?
Yeah.
Like, these should either be 1 or 3.
Yeah. Desire's a funny one. Desire's, oh my god.
Wait, so shall I go over the semi-limits first?
Yeah.
So it's OV to 2,
Based.
Red Eyes Darkness Metal to 2,
Cringe.
from 1, Desires to 2 from 3,
That
and
is
Cross Out to 2
extremely
from 3.
cringe.
Yeah.
But, okay, so Overraptor to 2. Nah, this deck is still not, like, better, because, like, they lost Mystic Mind. You got an extra Ovi, but you now haven't got mine. So the deck sucks. I'm still, like, this deck sucks. Bring me back.
Yeah, it does, unfortunately.
Yeah. But they have, like, 3 Misc. They have a bunch of babies. They have, like, 2 or 3 Fossil Dig. They have Denglong, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, Denglong, that's so huge. There's so much more to play with in terms of the combo routes.
Yeah. Red Eyes Darkness Metal, like, the Dragon deck they have is, like, super nerfed as well, I believe. LP's banned. What else is
They
there?
have a thing against moving a card from 1 to 3 quickly.
Yeah.
So it's just...
It's
like, next list, it should go to 3.
Yeah.
Cross Out to 2 is a very OCG hit.
It's also, yeah, again, it looks like a transitional hit as well, because Called By is already at 2 there as well. They didn't touch Called By on this list, but they did touch, the Cross Out. So, it's funny now, because they have 4 outs to Maxi in terms of quick play spells, and as soon as we get Cross Out, which we'll talk about in a bit, we're going to have 4 outs to Maxi as well. Question mark?
No, because you can also Ash Maxi, which you have to remember, because the decks were playing like 9 outs to Maxi in their main deck.
Yeah.
And it just made it a really sort of unfun rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
What have you opened?
Yeah, no, because a lot of the dynamic, it feels like, with the OCG gameplay is like, you get Max Seed, have your own, either have your out or have a Max C, and then your opponent starts to play, you Max C them, or you, like, hand trap them, and it's just whoever runs out of, like, defensive cards first, and then you just get to play.
I was watching some OCG games as well, and they just didn't respect it. They got Max Seed anyway, played anyway.
I've seen a lot of games like that as well. They just play, like, it doesn't matter. Like, they don't care. Do you know what it is, though? Their decks are so fucked up. Like, their Drytron deck has, like, 3 Ben 10, Carrier. Like, I can't remember what else they have that's, like, insane. Like, that's just so much stuff.
Like, you can obviously look at, like, the topping lists from OCG for, on, Road to the King, Yu-Gi-Oh! Nation, whatever. And none of them were building Drytron at all like we were in TCG.
Yeah, definitely.
And then someone, like one person in that entire continent, looked at TCG and went, "Oh, this seems pretty good," and
built it the way we did,
and just started stomping everyone.
Yeah,
and now they're like, "Oh, Drytron haven't been hit." Like as soon as the ban list dropped, I had people going, "Can you teach me like how do you play Drytron? How do you play around Iberi?"
Yeah.
And now they're like, "Oh, Drytron, all gas, no brakes." That's the way to play it in OCG.
Yeah, of course it's. Yeah, doesn't make sense to me. I think it was the same with Adamantipator as well.
Yeah, that Adamantipator.
I believe it full power with 3 Block Dragon, and we didn't play it.
Just did not play it. It just doesn't make sense. They wanted to play Striker to engage.
No, fair enough.
Like,
engage.
The OCG, they
Striker.
love Striker.
They just play it. Like,
love that deck. The price of 20th Secret Rare Striker stuff is
insane, right? Like the whole deck is like
the rest of the rarity. It's mad.
I think in max rare, how much is it in max rare? It's some obscene cost. Like, it's well into like 4 digits of our currency even.
Definitely.
It's crazy. All right, and now let's look at everything that went to 3. Nessie, don't care. Circle, cringe, don't care. Mind Control to 3. That's pretty cool. But again, what are your guys' thoughts on Mind Control?
Yeah, I think it's really absurd.
You think 3 is absurd?
Yeah, like stealing an Appaloosa in the Tri-Brigade mirror is just incredible.
Oh, yeah. But like, Appaloosa's a bit of a stupid card in the first place, right? So, but there's no way to punish your opponent going, Mind Control, that's it. Can't do anything. Unlucky.
Yeah.
I think... Yes, I go on.
I mean, you go. Cut that bit.
Oh, sure. It's all right. So my opinion on Mind Control is that, yes, the card's absurd, but I think the game is lacking going second tools. And I think even though the card is broken, I think it's fine to have it free. I think it's healthy for the game. What is everyone else's thoughts on that?
I think it's one of the fairer cards that's, built for blind second decks. Or,
Yeah, I
a
agree.
side deck card
I
when
agree.
you're expecting to go second.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we do need more cards like that.
Yeah.
But I think they do veer way too far one side or the other. Like in some
talents.
formats,
Yeah.
Talents, for example, is an
Talents
example of a
evenly
card that
matched
does
is an
that.
absurd card.
Yeah.
Evenly matched is just bad design.
I mean, but, that's built to punish, people that overcommit and don't really put much thought into what they're playing. Mostly guys players. But,
Oh, sorry.
You really don't like Geist, do you, Sam?
I've played against it too.
The UK just needs to grow up at this point. I think Callum said it perfectly.
I despair whenever I see a UK events happen because I see 3 Altergeist in top 4 and I just think,
what is this country doing?
What is happening? It's not even good.
It's not.
That's the worst part. It's not even good.
they just sit on Rivalry and Faker and they go, yeah, good game. I mean, it's a deck, fair enough, but
it's just grim watching
It should never be in a position where it's overwhelmingly the best deck.
Yeah,
No.
but
I
it
don't
can't
think it
be.
is at the moment. I think it's just
It never was. It never was.
And
No,
it never
no,
can
it
be.
never was. It was just absolutely unfun to play against.
Yeah.
And
God,
I just think.
can we stop talking
should
about
have
Altergeist,
not
please?
talked Faker backs.
We were talking about cool cards like Mind Control, and then you started talking about Altergeist.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I said even. Yeah, my bad.
No, that's fine. But okay, with my thing with sort of Mind Control and going second cards is they're nice to have and they're good to have, but you got to be wary because we have the thing that's changed in Yu-Gi-Oh the most, and I think the last 2-3 years I'd say is when decks go second, most of them have access to a finisher access code or Boral Sword. So it's we were having this discussion earlier just off cam. And it's I think that those 2 cards should probably just be banned outright. You shouldn't have a card. You should basically with back and forths in Yu-Gi-Oh, you shouldn't have cards that turn trading disruptions into game, and you shouldn't have cards that let your turn 1 setup with follow up turn into game on turn 3. That's not how a back and forth works, right? Because a lot of games are over within the first 2-3 turns, and people scoop. Mostly because of the threat of an access code or a Boral Sword just ending their life the next turn, right? I just wonder sometimes if we didn't have those access to those cards, how would the sort of game flow change and how would people play the game if we didn't just have things that 1 card button wins and stuff like that? I don't know what you guys
agree.
think.
I think for me, it's blind second decks used to be sort of, you would use go second as you get the extra card, you get the advantage of the first battle phase, you would gain advantage through that. But now going second decks have just been sort of relegated to just, okay, I'm going to go second, I'm going to kill, I either kill or I lose. And there's no, there's only 2.
I think,
it's binary. It's binary. There's only 2 options.
So it's 2 things. It's one is the go second decks have sort of they're bottlenecked and sort of streamlined into.
That's a good way of putting it.
They're sort of streamlined into access code turbo or Boral Sword turbo decks. It's either that or it's even just the go first decks that are just relatively okay at playing through disruptions.
Yeah.
Just having ways to just having that
Yeah.
accessing the extra deck, just having it there as a threat. Your opponent has to remove monsters and make sure they're removing monsters in order to stop you. But at that point, a lot of the time, you're still getting value from whatever you're doing. So it's really difficult.
It's when you realise that Spinny Gazelle is 10k damage.
What? Why is that 10k damage?
Think about that.
Yeah. Any thoughts, Dean, on just generally going second?
No, I think it's all been covered. I think going second is probably a little too strong right now.
You think?
Oh, do you think?
Little
I don't
requires
think it's-
droplets, particularly.
No, I don't think it's a case of like it's the going second strategy is too strong. I think it's underpowered at the moment. I think that there are going second card strategies that are just too do too much for what they are and are accessible by decks that aren't built to purely go second.
Yeah.
Like, Cyber Dragons or Madolche sometimes if they're not playing Goes and Rivalry.
I guess the issue is more with the blowout cards then.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think
droplets.
the staples have really increased in power the past 2 years, I would say. You look at like Talons, Lightning Storm, Droplets. These cards are crazy.
This card's so fucked up. I like the first thing I do, like it's not particularly correct, but the first thing I do is look at a deck and I'm like, how do I fit all 3 of those cards in the deck and make it work?
Yeah.
Definitely.
At least between the main and the side deck. Like,
No, I agree.
this card's insane. Speaking of those cards, actually, now that we're done talking, actually no, there's one more card here. Pinnacle to 3, cringe.
Yeah, right next. Sorry.
We were also going to talk about the tins, the upcoming sort of products that we have, and some of the leaks we got. And prior to recording this today, we actually got a couple of actual leaks from actual promotional videos for some of the stuff. What do you guys make of them?
Cringe that access code's not in there.
Yeah.
Very
so we were talking about having
because,
so we were talking about having access code. No. No.
well, like
Not yet.
I mean, I understand how they want to spread out because obviously these tins were stacked. Like they were an exceptionally strong wave of tins, probably in line with the 2019 ones with Nibiru and also very good sets that they were printing as well. And I can understand why they wouldn't want to put everything in there because from the set list that I've seen people have made so far, we're missing Storm, which was printed in King's Court, Droplets, which is I mean, you can't call the OTS pack a reprint, but it's also in Battles of Legend in the new year. And then we've got Access Code, which we don't know when it's coming back.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even though cases are going up, hospitalization and everything, the general consensus is that events and, gatherings and things like that will be encouraged by the government soon. So I would imagine that most people would like easy access to these staples that they've probably put off getting over the past year. And Konami have kind of bottled it by not having the easy access to them here and using these super high powered cards to sell other sets that necessarily may not have the best cards in them. And so access code at the moment, I think I saw it's like 150 euros on card market.
Bro,
the
card market memes earlier, oh my god. We were just seeing the price just like skyrocket as soon as people realized access isn't in the tins. We just saw people like listing them for like 200 euros. We saw people like listing them with like Fafa memes and shit. It was so funny.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Konami are a business and they have to go about it the right way, but I think they probably oversighted a little bit.
Maybe.
I agree.
They do have Go ahead.
Sorry, go on. Oh, sure. Oh, I was just going to say, I still think if you're a player who has been out of the game for maybe a year and a half because of lockdown, it's a really good set to buy to get you back into the game because it has so many staples.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
100%. It's a fantastic set to rebuy into.
Yeah.
But obviously, like, I think they've printed a humongous amount of this set. But it's just tragic that there's this incredibly in-demand card from a set that was significantly underprinted in the first instance because they stopped doing unlimited runs because no one was buying them. They're not putting starlights in
and then
themselves.
COVID as well.
What you get. They underprinted because of COVID started ramping up just as they were probably finishing the print run.
Yeah.
And, now, it was April, so nearly 20 months later.
Yeah.
It's a staple one of that 99% of decks play.
Yeah.
And you can't get it unless you're paying nearly 200 euros now.
Which is a lot of money. Just, play virtual.
Just play virtual.
Some people are going to be forced into, deck choices they probably wouldn't like to play purely because they don't want to spend really 200 pounds on a specific card, which really should have been accessible.
I mean, they can now play Virtual World with Prismatic Secret Rares of Lulu and all of those cards. So
let's go.
They get to play a very nice looking Virtual World deck without access code in it, at the very least. What else was there? So who was talking about this? So like access code would probably be like, they spread it out into like other sets. Battles of Legend is probably a set they'll put it in, or the gold set. Like either are quite likely. The one that I was told that was quite like, wait, shit, don't do this. It was I talked about it earlier in the chat. Was what if they just print access code as a ghost and another ghost from the past set and call that the second print?
Reprint smiley face. Go ahead.
The Blacklist Soldier.
We still don't have an affordable copy of that. That's coming in Ulti in the next pack, right?
Yeah, I like.
Why?
I mean,
just give us
out of pocket if he ever wants to.
Leon's to be out of pocket. And then there is the big elephant in the room.
Which is?
On the tins. Cross out.
Oh yes, bro.
Yes.
That card.
Sorry, I just wanted to shit on Konami a bit.
No, it's alright, Sam. I understand.
Oh god.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna see OCG deck building in TCG for the first few months.
I can see like Dean like already getting like a migraine from this.
I mean, you're gonna have people looking at it going, well, everyone's playing Imperm and everyone's playing Crossout, so I'm gonna not play Imperm. I'm gonna play Ghost Mourner because no one's gonna play that, and I'm gonna play that, and then they're not gonna have a Crossout target for it, and I can win. And that's gonna be genuine thought process for a lot of people, and it's not necessarily wrong.
Yes, it is.
No, it is.
Yes, it is.
What are you talking?
Come on, bro.
Sam's already thinking. Sam is already thinking about Sam strats post tins.
All the Sam strats have come out.
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
Yes, contact T.
Oh my
Flying
god!
T, let's go.
People are going to be deck building with that in mind, and
They are.
Yeah, they're gonna
It's the truth. Yeah.
Oh, do you know what Crossout is good for though? When I'm playing in 30 now and I set hidden monsters in the back row, if they try and MST me, I'm going Crossout call MST. you ain't gonna catch me doing that. Look at Sam.
I saw Coda was in a podcast with Farfa and a few others a while ago, and he was talking about how, a similar situation.
Right. Okay. But yeah, with Crossout coming out, now we have this exact same number of outs as the OCG to Max C. So now let's open up this can of worms. What do we think of Max?
Please. No.
Not getting it back.
Discussion ended.
Alright, brilliant.
I really like I know there's quite a lot of Maxi sympathizers around, but you really I was testing out an OCG deck on DB Ladder the other day, and Maxi got dropped every game, and it was
he's in so much pain.
It was bad. We shouldn't have that.
Nah, but
we
do you know what it is?
I agree.
Just looking at OCG Twitter and people posting their like massive, like egregious chain links that go up to like chain link 7. It's like Ash. It's like chain Maxi, chain Ash, chain Gamma, chain Maxi, chain Crossout, chain Crossout. I saw that at one point. It was just wild. Like,
well, that's what Maxi does. It forces that terrible deck building because the card is just too powerful.
Yeah.
And I think in TCG people are much more keen on combo, which allows Maxi to flourish.
I think
no Maxi to allow them to flourish.
Yeah.
But...
I think that's slowly changing from like what we've been seeing with like recent OCG deck lists and the past couple of formats. I think they're now sort of starting to be more open to like playing combo decks and just straight up winning with them. Because I remember this was a discussion that we had, was like the OCG player culture is a little bit different as well with the way they play the game. But now they're sort of more picking up on the sort of just combo decks in general and just like not respecting Maxi, just playing and just spitting out cards onto the board.
I'm surprised Drytron's the one that's really started ramping up, because the
Really?
entire idea of Drytron is you end on a board of ultimateness with 6 fairies in hand, or access to 6 fairies through either, and your opponent has 6 cards to be able to play with. So you negate 6 cards and you win next turn.
Yeah.
But in OCG, if you play that, your opponent's going, well, I'm going to max you and I'm going to have 20 cards. So you've got 6 cards to negate you with. Choose wisely, I guess.
Yeah, it's just that dynamic, right?
I'm surprised that that's the deck that started this off.
Yeah. I mean, Drytron's broken. Like, we've been over this. Like, the deck suffers from success.
It's very good.
Yeah.
I think the funniest interaction with Maxi is Colossal Fighter in the OCG.
Because they just...
A lot of
Are you aware?
players.
Yeah, so you play it in Sword Soul going second, and when they drop Maxi, you summon Colossal Fighter,
and you just deck out.
and it summons yourself back infinitely. It's really funny.
Because I think they all have to actually like play one bell in the main deck to stop the Colossal
Yeah.
Fighter loop. But okay, let's talk about it from this perspective. So we're gonna get Cross out, and let's say we don't get Maxi back, which is more than likely what we're gonna see.
More than likely.
How do you think that impacts Cross out for us? Because I feel like a card like Cross out, because of the way it's designed and the way it requires you to play bricks, essentially, there's less impetus to like actually stop a hand trap or stop Maxi in general. Because your main aim is to stop Maxi, right? So how do you think the dynamic changes for us, if at all?
I think initially we'll start seeing people go, I'll play Cross out. These are the hand traps I'm expecting to see, and we'll just have Cross out in the main to deal with that. And if you play against the mirror, it's a nice bonus. And then I think people will start pivoting so that they might play one of side deck cards they know absolutely shit on their deck. So, you know, Drytron will probably start playing at least one Cycle Reader, even if they're not playing 3 to just sided, they've got a banished target. You might, if Dark Brawler starts being played, Droplets, like all those things I would imagine, like even if you're playing against Dry Brigade, probably siding that one of Revolt to entirely turn off most of their plays could be, you know, worth it. And I think that might be how people start building after a short while, but I mean, no one knows how it's going to turn out.
Yeah, I agree. I think in the short term, that's how people are going to build around Cross out.
Yeah.
But I think it's really hard to tell at this stage.
Yeah.
I think personally that it's a card that isn't going to be good until we have a more settled format.
Yeah.
Because I think going into a new format, it's really hard to play a card like that. One of your precious non-engine spots, which you don't know is going to be live.
Yeah.
It's not really a disruption.
Yeah,
I think
it's a non-engine spot that is entirely dependent on your other non-engine spot choices.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
So the way I see the card, the way I see it developing further, at least in our format, is less so just like playing the one specific like hard counter cards, in terms of like siding the one of Revolt or siding the one of like Cycle Reader or whatever. I think it will just generally see more play in decks like Prankids, where they can play just a whole load of non-engine anyways. They like switch out one set of their non-engine for like 3 cross out, and then now you have a card that mitigates hand traps, and a card that, and not only that, you're mitigating the hand traps, you're also just playing those targets anyways. So you're playing like the Nib, the Ash, the Veilers, you're playing all of those as defensive cards as well. I think that's the most sort of cohesive way to play the card, in theory.
I agree. I think this is the slight paradox with Crossout, is really good in decks like Prankids that play a lot of non-engine, because it's already playing those cards. But really, Crossout has the most impact in a combo deck, because you want your combo to resolve. In which case, you're not really going to be playing with non-engine cards.
Yeah, I think it really does like force like subpar deck building in like the combo decks, just because the way the format forces and funnels itself down into, it forces itself into like playing all these hand traps for the combo decks, and then the combo deck just has to play a guessing game of which targets it wants to play for crossout, because when it resolves that crossout, it just fucking wins. Like it resolves into full
It's
combo.
crazy.
You open Alpha Zeta crossout called by talents. Like what do you want?
Can you cross out?
Yes.
Or does that not work?
Yeah, you can do that.
I think you can.
You can.
I'm not sure.
You definitely
It
can.
banishes a
haven't
card,
read
so
quite
you
well.
can banish Imperial Order.
I want to see for like crazy interactions, where like someone goes activate, I don't know, like Cosmic. They go Jade, cool cosmic. Something stupid like what? You're playing? Sorry, you're. I don't know.
That's
I think
funny.
yeah, it's certainly an interesting card.
I mean,
Right.
I dread to think what price point it's going to be, because
Yeah.
Dragoon was an ultra promo card, and that card is what, 60, 70 now. This card's a 3 of staple in an admittedly better set,
Yeah.
but
That has a lot
you
more
need
ultra rares
3
as
of this
well.
card in most decks, compared to Dragoon being a 1 of in some decks.
No, it was a 3 of in the extract decks, the Monkey Guru deck. Red Ice Fusion.
And they even
Yeah,
play
but
it,
if
Sam.
they
Play
want to play a
Prosperity.
monkey deck, then
I mean, it used to play like before we got Prosperity, right? Like,
Oh, sure, yeah, true.
but anyways, yeah.
Insane. No, there's one more card. I'm not sure if it's in the tins. The Dark Magician Ritual. Has anyone watched the leaked videos, the promo videos?
Oh, yeah. We're not entirely sure if that's in there, but
I don't think the ritual's in it. I think
Is it
that's
not? Okay.
in another OCG product first.
no, but that OCG product had a bunch of the Dark Magician cards and the Blue Eyes cards that are in the tin.
So is this like their double helix or their Beatrice?
Who knows? I actually
No idea.
don't know which set it's in, but I know which card Henry's talking about. It's the card that basically gives you like 9 accesses to Magician
Oh, it's
Souls.
very good. It's
Yeah.
very good. It makes souls go from 3 to 9, and you don't need to play via Garnet to send off souls.
Yeah.
Because you can send it off souls.
Yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting card. It's just about finding a deck in the format that can actually play it, which realistically there aren't that many, because not many get value off the send, and not many get value off of sending spells and traps. So yeah.
I was toying a bit with Invoked and Eldritch, and
Yeah.
when you resolve it, it's very powerful.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You're forced to play Eldritch cards, man. Like,
yeah, exactly.
the best card of that, the
You're
best
already
bit of that
losing
deck is it
half
could play floodgates.
Yeah.
True. Eldritch was never a good deck. No one can convince me otherwise.
Bro, it was just the what's it? The what was it? The Golden Lands, I think they're called. They were just good discards off of like Jet Synchron. So
Yeah. That was the best interaction anything Eldritch has done ever. Being discard for it's sick.
yeah. Right. Any other thoughts, feelings, worries, anything?
The access code won't be reprinted until the new year. That's a worry of mine.
Yeah.
Well, a gripe, I guess.
A gripe, bro. Don't need it. We'll just play Bomber. we have so many other cards. Nothing really does what Access does. Access is like
Nothing does what Access
it clears
does.
the board and then kills you. Like, I think that's just rude.
Yeah.
But anyways, anything else, guys? Any closing ideas?
I think that's everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's much else.
Pin's really good. Finally, a good product this year.
Yeah.
True, actually. This Phantom Rage I thought was a bad set that aged very well.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
everything since the start of the year has been.
I think Phantom Rage was only bad because it came after Rise. And we were
Oh,
like, what?
yeah.
Yeah.
Tell them about Servant and Talents. And
I mean, we went from Rise, where there were 9 good secret rares, to I think all of them were worth £10 or more.
except Friends.
Up until except Friends.
Shit card. What does it do again? It just like excavates and hits a rock.
It's the
It's
only
absurd in
Avalanche
queue,
Space
by the way.
card that puts a restriction on you,
Yeah.
and it prevents you.
Okay, I've had
It
enough.
forces
You
you
said
to only
restriction. I've had
Avalanche.
enough. Okay.
Yeah.
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 You,
Right.
you can only summon rocks. You can only summon rocks.
Waste of time.
Leonite Surfer, let's go.
Yeah. So we've talked ban list. We've talked about new product. Hopefully we'll get our hands on the product soon and see what we can do with it. All right. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys are watching on YouTube, be sure to check us out on the Spotify. If you guys are listening on the Spotify, be sure to follow us, subscribe to us on YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube. Follow us on not Patreon. My brain scrambled. Follow us on
Patreon?
soon. Follow us on Spotify. Thank you again to Henry, Dean, and Sam for joining us today. Especially Dean. We'll leave links to his Twitch channel. You stream on Twitch or YouTube Gaming, bro?
I'm a Twitch streamer.
Twitch streamer, let's go. We'll leave the links to...
He's one of those ones.
Yeah, we'll leave the link to his Twitch in the description for you guys to check out. Thank you again to our sponsors, MetaMats, The Brotherhood, and Card Market, and Games Apparel. Be sure to check us out. Check out our store in the link below. And yeah, that covers everything. Thank you guys again for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Right.